We'll meet printmaker Carolyn Musket.
We'll have highlights from the 2019 Imagine You conference.
And we'll preview the main stage production Night of the Iguana.
All this and more coming up About Town.
Hello everyone and welcome to About Town. I'm Susan Stevens.
And I'm Kathy Whiteman, and always thrilled to have Susan with me. So, big news in the box office this weekend. What are you looking up most forward to for spring movies?
Well, I mean, Captain Marvel just came out, as you said, this weekend, great at the box office, but you'll hear about my review of that later in the show. And I will just say, it made me that much more excited to see Endgame. I think I'm laser focused on that movie. I just can't wait to see it.
I think I'm almost as excited about Endgame as I am about Game of Thrones, but that's another conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would go into that forever.
So glad you could be here.
Glad to be here.
And so glad to have you with us for details on the 40th annual Texas Fest and Chocolate and Chic 2019.
We'll also meet former Miss Black Dallas co-ed Kayla Reed and talk about her new book, The Unlikely Queen.
And as always, we'd love to hear from you. So let us know about a community event you'd like to promote on the show or a story you'd like to see.
You can email us at ictn@cityofirving.org or connect with us on social media. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you.
The work of award-winning printmaker Carolyn Musket is the subject of the new exhibit Here and Now at the Irving Art Center. She talked with us about why printmaking is her choice for artistic expression.
I make images, and it's a way to communicate with people.
Here and Now, Prints by Carolyn Musket, is a collection of the artist's recent work on display in the Dupree Gallery.
When I was first studying art, I was a painter, and I realized that I approached my paintings the same way I approach printmaking, in layers.
Musket is visiting North Texas to attend the Southern Graphics Council International.
Carolyn is the 2019 recipient of the Teaching or Excellence in Teaching Award. So she will be receiving that, and so we are helping to honor her with this one-person show.
The show features lithographs and relief prints, vivid images that evolve from Musket's keen observation of the sights and sounds of nature.
The sound of the rain, and what pattern does that make, because the sound makes you look. It's that pattern that Mother Nature is putting out there for you. All of these, as an artist, I respond to.
For Musket, the response is to capture the moment and communicate it.
And it is a way to point out a moment and say, isn't this cool? Isn't this unique? Isn't this worth taking a moment?
Musket's art has taken her all over the world, and she's captured many such moments in her body of work.
With a really great piece called The Wave, in which you have this gorgeous wave configuration that's very evocative of a classic Japanese woodcut, but it kind of transmogrifies into forest and limbs and trees with birds on top. So it looks like a frothy wave, but it's also foliage. The birds are sort of transformed from the water. Then we move to more straightforward looking birds and branches and trees and views of the sky.
The work is stunning, but Musket knows that the images won't affect each viewer the same way.
And that's why having a show like this is so wonderful, because you get to have many of those different parts that can talk to each other and maybe appeal to different people.
It's really worth taking a moment to see.
It's just a really cohesive, beautiful body of work.
This is Kathy Whiteman reporting.
Here and Now, Prints by Carolyn Musket, continues in the Dupree Lobby Gallery through March 31st.
The Imagine You conference is now in its 5th year of helping girls envision and create a successful future for themselves. Here are some highlights from this year's event. These young women are taking part in the yoga and stress management class at the 5th annual Imagine You conference.
I think I like the yoga class the best.
I kind of want to learn about the stress management, like the yoga, because we take a lot of hard classes and stuff, so like yoga and stress management would really help.
Yoga is just one of 3 classes being taught. Imagine You is a conference for middle through high school girls, and each year organizers put on a schedule that coincides with their core values.
For our career prep class, we actually have a college prep class that are being taught by 2 professional, college professors. And then for our self-images class, we are learning about positive relationships, building positive relationships, and how to foster them today.
What they learn today will be carried with them for the future.
I learned that when you're in a relationship, it's best to have healthy boundaries, that you basically respect the other's privacy.
To me personally, the college class that we have, I think it's a really good opportunity for us to learn about different scholarships and stuff like that, and just, about college.
I'm a sophomore, and I'm kind of going into that, start looking for colleges and all that stuff, and it's kind of daunting, it's kind of scary to have to prepare it.
It's definitely beneficial for them to take part of this event outside of school, because it's just another avenue for them to get information on how to, prepare for college, learn about fashion tips, and, just another avenue for them to learn. Yeah.
And it also helps them build relationships, learn new people, because they're usually, stuck in their classrooms, and they actually get, good friendships with the people that are there, but now they actually get to mingle with people from different schools, different parts of town and things like that. And I've actually noticed lots of different friendships that were developed at these conferences, which is a great thing.
And in between classes, they are participating in activities about fashion and appreciation.
One of them is the community service station. And the girls are actually assembling bags of hygiene products that we're going to send out to Cafe Momentum. And then there's another station called the Gratitude Station. The girls at that station are putting together thank you notes to say thank you for participating as a volunteer, or thank you for participating as a donor for me to attend this conference today. And then there's another area where the girls are doing, it's called a fashion boutique. So they are getting tickets for their participation in each of the classes, and they can go and actually shop for items. And we ask them to either tell us what they've learned if they don't have enough tickets for the items, or we ask them to negotiate, because in the future they're going to have to negotiate contracts, they're going to have to negotiate prices of cars, all kinds of things. And so if they can learn those core values here on negotiating, they can do a really good job when they get out into the community.
It's a good opportunity for me to learn about different things like goals, friendships, college, things, and just to be around different people, because I'm not from here. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, so interact with different people.
You get to meet new friends. It's kind of like building a community. You get to meet new people, and it's really empowering for young women to start looking at their future.
The success of Imagine You wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the help of sponsors.
Our inspirational candy bar is provided by Tamara Von Scott, and she's actually been a sponsor for the last 4 years. So this one is really exciting. I'm already checking it out, and I just can't wait to see the end result. The city of Irving has been a huge sponsor, actually really from the beginning of time, but this year they've really stepped it up a notch and given us a lot of funds to be able to purchase the items that we need to make this event successful for the ladies.
Imagine You continues to inspire and motivate young women for a brighter future. For About Town, this is Susan Stevens. To learn more about the Imagine You conference, visit simsfoundationofhope.com.
It's peace, love, and health at this year's Texas Fest.
Cass Prince joins us with the details. Welcome.
Thank you.
Love this theme.
Isn't it great?
It is. It's perfect. It really is. So
Absolutely.
why did you guys decide on this to celebrate? Because this is 40. So
it's
40 years.
40, yeah, 40 and fabulous. Well, we wanted, I think it's a great message for our time, peace, love, and health. We want that for all of our communities. And so we just decided we wanted to do something that was reminiscent of the 60s, late 60s and early 70s. And this was a great theme.
I know something about that era. I was there when it happened the first time.
That sounds great. I know you got a lot of fun stuff planned. Can you tell us some highlights?
Do. Well, you can get a temporary tattoo, of course. Janis Joplin is the mistress of ceremonies, which I think will be fun. There's some, I don't want to give it all away, but we have a very special activity lined up where you're going to be able to make something and take it with you.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
It's kind of psychedelic.
And the only way, folks, you will know what this is if you buy a ticket. And
or
I hope
sponsorship, even
or
better.
Sponsorship
Yes,
would be
there you
even
go.
better. So what about a headliner? Who's going to be there that night?
Hard Night's Day is the Beatles cover band, and so they're going to be our guests for the evening, and they'll be providing the music and that we'll boogie to.
Oh, I'm sold. I'm there.
I know you're having it at Mercury Studios again.
We are, but this time we're going to be on the big side in Glenn Beck's actual Mercury Studios. Which has so many memories for so much of many of us here in Irving, but it's really spectacular inside. So I think it'll be a big wow just walking in the big bay door.
Yeah, people are absolutely going to love that. Before we let you go, kind of tease us with some of because you always have a great auction. Anything that people need to be paying attention to?
Well, you have to come to find out how fabulous things are going to be, but there are trips and jewelry and paintings and all kinds of interesting things.
All right, fantastic. You always make it a point to designate funds from what you raise at Texas Fest to something very special and exciting. Can you tell us about what that is this year?
I can, and this is something that was requested by the doctors who work in these facilities, and it's called a spy tracker, and it's a little gizmo, a little expensive gizmo that tracks blood flow during surgeries, and so they're better able to do their work taking care of people who need special surgeries. So
that has a very special resonance for me, and I'll tell you about all that later. But yeah, it is. It's critically important. So thank goodness the doctors asked for it, and that you guys are ready to raise money to make sure that we have one.
I think it's fun to know exactly what your money is going to be spent for as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So folks, you don't want to miss the fun at Texas Fest 2019. That's Peace, Love, and Health, Saturday, April 6th at 6 p.m. at the Mercury Studios in Las Colinas. HealthyIrving.org for sponsorships and tickets. Be there. With its $455 million opening weekend, Marvel may have coined the term spring blockbuster with the latest addition to their franchise. Here's Susan with a review of Captain Marvel.
Thanos, watch out.
So, Skrulls are the bad guys.
Because Marvel's first leading lady is a powerful threat. Set in the 1990s, Captain Marvel is an all-new adventure from a previously unseen period in the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Your life began.
Academy Award winner Brie Larson plays Verse, aka Captain Marvel. She fights with an alien race called the Kree and has little memory before finding herself in a war against the shape-shifting aliens called the Skrulls. After her mission goes awry, she finds herself on Earth, where she meets a young, two-eyed Nick Fury. Fury is skeptical of the aliens at first, but once he encounters one of them, he tags along Verse's journey to find an energy source that both the Kree and Skrulls desire. All the while, Verse is learning about the secrets of her past.
Tell me about this dream.
The film brings together a talented all-star cast, including Jude Law and Annette Bening. But it's Sam Jackson and his on-screen cuddly co-star Goose the cat that steal the show and, dare I say, our hearts? While Goose is an unexpected surprise, Jackson portrays the best version of Nick Fury yet, and maybe one of his most likable roles ever. Now, the film is far from Marvel's best, but it's still a lot of fun, giving us an interesting character backstory while still entertaining us with sufficient action sequences and genuine laugh-out-loud moments. The 90s soundtrack doesn't hurt either. After what took place in Infinity Wars, this movie may feel underwhelming, but what is exciting is the anticipation of what's to come. Captain Marvel is quite possibly the most powerful Avenger, so it makes us that much more anxious to see her take on Thanos in Endgame. Captain Marvel has all the ingredients for a decent B superhero movie. And though it's a predictable plot, it's still an amusing story that's absolutely worth watching. Continuing the fight, but in a different battle, one of my early favorite films of the year, Fighting with My Family, is still holding strong at the box office.
You really want to choke her out in a lot of fingers? Yeah. Now pull it tight. Oh, yeah, now she's in trouble.
The film is based on the incredible true story of how WWE superstar Paige came to be.
Morgan, I'm calling from WWE.
Coming from a tight-knit wrestling family in England, she is thrilled when her and her brother Zach are offered an opportunity to try out for WWE. But when only Paige earns a spot, she is left feeling guilty and alone in the extremely competitive training program.
Huge fans. Thank you so much.
Florence Pugh gives a knockout performance as the professional wrestler, along with her on-screen family played by Lena Headey, Nick Frost, and Jack Lowden. But some of the best scenes are with Vince Vaughn as he plays the hilarious yet tough coach, pushing Paige to reach her full potential.
Your sister takes it away from you.
I have to say, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect when walking into this movie, but what I got was so much more than a wrestling comedy. There's a lot of heart here, and watching Paige struggle between fighting for her dream and playing it safe is a journey that moved me to tears. You don't have to be a WWE fan to enjoy this one. Fighting with My Family is a brawl that everyone can and should pay tickets to see. For About Town, this is Susan Stevens.
The next me. Be the first you.
What?
It's Dwayne Johnson. How are you?
Prove it.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Yeah, and I'm Vin Diesel, mate.
I'm sorry. Captain Marvel is currently playing at AMC Irving Mall, Regal MacArthur Marketplace, and Alamo Drafthouse Las Colinas. Chocolate and Chic is the signature fundraiser for Brighter Tomorrows.
Brent Trotter joins us with the details on the event. Thanks for joining us.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure to see you and to have the opportunity to introduce you to our viewers as the new CEO of Brighter Tomorrows.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what attracted you to apply for the position.
Well, you know, it's a unique intersection of life, circumstances, and just ambition. I'm a native Texan, having been in Florida for about 20 years. We raised our kids there and were able to, let's call it retirement. But retirement wasn't as kind to me as I thought it would be because I just didn't have enough to do, and because of the circumstances and the opportunity, I just I couldn't help but move into this role.
So obviously the issue is important to you.
Absolutely, this issue is critical. It's a critical issue to our society, to our community, and it's something that I want to step into, lean into, and do something about, try to contribute to.
That is wonderful.
So can you tell us about the Chocolate and Chic luncheon?
Well, Chocolate and Chic is one of our fundraising events that we have, and as you already know, it's going to be on March the 27th. It begins at 10:30 with the early opening for the silent auction. 11:30 is lunch, and this year we have a very special guest. Tweety Johnson is going to be our guest speaker. She's a survivor, and I'd love to tell you more, but she's got a great story, and I don't want to take away from that.
We want folks to be there then. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
So, are sponsorships still available for the luncheon that's coming up?
Absolutely. Sponsorships are available. Individual tickets are available. If you'd like to buy a table for $850, you can sponsor a table and invite guests to come, or tickets are available at $80 a person.
Now, can you tell us about programs at Brighter Tomorrows?
Well, Brighter Tomorrows is a domestic violence agency that provides services for women particularly and their children who are fleeing domestic violence. We provide comprehensive approach to getting women safe and stable, that and their children, and then we offer them up to 2 years worth of transitional housing. This is an issue that is so critical for people to understand. 1 in 4 women are victims of abuse, and that's a startling statistic when you think about it, sobering in many ways. And one of the statistics that troubles me is that women will return to their abuser 7 times. And oftentimes people say, well, why don't they just leave? And when you begin to understand and unpack and peel back all the layers of that, you begin to understand that there are so many emotional, financial, and other reasons why she has to go back, for reasons of her own feeling safe and for that of the kids and for other reasons as well. But we need to step into that and be able to provide resources for how to help them leave that situation and that relationship.
Well, we really appreciate the job that Brighter Tomorrows has done, especially in the Irving, Grand Prairie area, which is what we're so familiar with, and want to do everything we can to encourage folks to buy that ticket to Chocolate and Chic, because as you can see, the proceeds go to something that's an extremely important issue in our community. The event is Wednesday, March 27th, as Brett mentioned. The auction starts at 10:30, luncheon at 11:30, and all the fun happens at Lone Star Park. Learn more at brightertomorrows.net.
Night of the Iguana is both an Academy Award-winning movie and a classic of the American stage. Main Stage Irving Las Colinas brings the Tennessee Williams masterpiece to the Dupree Theater. Here's a preview.
Don't talk to me like that. Don't complicate my life now, please. For God's sake, don't complicate my life now.
Former priest Larry Shannon has found himself at a low point in his life after he's been accused of having inappropriate relations with a teenage girl.
Why did you sing I Love You Truly at me?
Because I do love you too.
Honey, girl, don't you know that nothing worse could happen to a girl in your unstable condition than get emotionally mixed up with a man in my unstable condition?
Mainstage Irving Las Cleanas's newest production, Night of the Iguana, follows Reverend Shannon, who is now a shabby tour guide hiding out at a Mexican inn run by his widowed old friend, Maxine.
Decent or legal. He's lucky if he can even hold on to his job.
He's come back to a place where he has felt safe before. And while he's there, he meets up with another traveler, Hannah Jelks, and her father. And over the course of just one day, all four of the prominent characters, and that includes Maxine, who owns the Costa Verde now, they confront the fact that each of them are searching for something and feeling a bit lost.
Jealousy arises when Maxine finds herself suddenly competing for Shannon's attention against Hannah, who is visiting the inn with her 97-year-old grandfather.
Nano is a poet, and he and his granddaughter's an artist. They go from hotel to hotel, and the granddaughter sells her talents. And so she does sketches and watercolors on request, and Nano recites poetry. And by doing so, they raise money.
Tell the lady. Yes, what? Tell her I've begun work on a new poem, and if I finish it here, I will inscribe it to her.
In this character-driven play, we are given insight into what these individuals are struggling with.
There's a lot of difference, the things that they're struggling with, but when you see in the final analysis, of course, you see how similar those struggles are.
I think that audiences will not only learn a lot, but absolutely enjoy themselves watching some pretty damaged people.
Though the show digs into serious personal conflicts, there's still a lot of laughs and fun to look forward to.
I spend a good deal of time tied to a hammock, which I've only just gotten to start rehearsing. So that's going to be exciting because if I move an inch too far to the left or the right, I will be on the floor. So it's a real high wire act, which ought to be fun for audiences to come and see how well I pull it off.
I think all of us, love to go to the theater and just, sing along to things like Mamma Mia or laugh at Neil Simon. But there's just some wonderful shows that have a very serious nature to them that I think we put on the back burner. And there's so much to be said, even for us today, that I hope that those people who come will take that deep breath and come back and see something that is a little bit deeper than they normally go to see.
Like any kind of literature, I think it's very important to expose yourself to some of those things so that it broadens your horizons in many ways.
It's a hotel visit that's well worth the stay, as Night of the Iguana features a talented cast who embody witty, relatable characters.
Come to this show. It will be worth your time, and you will be talking about these people for a long time.
My God, you're a hustler, aren't you? A fantastic, cool hustler.
For About Town, this is Susan Stevens.
Night of the Iguana opens March 15th in the Dupree Theater and runs through March 30th. Call 972-252-ARTS for tickets and showtimes.
Irving's Kayla Reed used a pageant platform to launch her message of hope for young women everywhere.
Kayla is here to tell us about her new project, the book, The Unlikely Queen. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you here, Kayla, and hear a little bit of your story. So before we launch into your book, I want to ask you about the title that you hold. Tell us a little bit about the Miss Black Dallas co-ed mission and why you decided to get involved.
That's a great question, and for me, I decided to get involved with pageants because of my passion for the community, and I knew that if I was able to win a title, that it would just give me a bigger platform to help more people. And so I chose the pageant system that I chose because of its whole mission is to empower young girls with education, and they're really big on service work and doing things in the community, which is a passion for me. So I just thought it was a perfect marriage, and it's been a really great experience for me.
That's great.
Unlikely is part of the title of your book and can describe a big part of your life. Can you tell us why you decided to write this book?
2 reasons. So the first reason is really because this has always been a lifelong dream that I've had. And being a beauty queen has really opened up a lot of doors for me, in particular motivational speaking. So even though I give people a chance to ask me questions at the end of all my speeches, I thought it'd be good to just take it a step further and have something that I could leave behind with my audiences. And I thought a book would be a good place to start.
There were some pretty traumatic things that happened in your past. How difficult was it to share those things publicly?
The very first line of my book is, I can't lie, the first 10 years of my life were pretty close to perfect. And from that, I take readers on a journey, you know, starting with my parents and their perfect marriage, or what appeared to be this perfect family that they had built together. And it appeared to me almost like overnight that that whole thing changed. Like, my parents split up, and from there, it's like my whole world just came upside down. And really just trying to learn how to navigate that, cope with it, and really just trying to figure it out. And so for me, I'm glad that I was able to write those difficult moments, because I think that's what makes my book a complete body of work. And the reason why it's been getting the response that it's been getting is because I was able to include things that were maybe hard for me, but I think people can relate to it.
So can you tell us, where can people get your book?
Absolutely. It is available on Amazon. You can just type in The Unlikely Queen. You can type in my name, Kayla Reed, and it pops right up. I would love, love, love the support. So please purchase a copy.
All right, great. Well, folks, I'm sure that you have found Kayla to be as charming as we have. Please take a look at her book. You'll learn some things about her time in South Korea, for example. It might be a lot of fun to find out on some celebrities that you've interviewed as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So go to Amazon.com, search Kayla Reed or The Unlikely Queen.
Here's another look at the work of award-winning printmaker Carolyn Musket and a list of exceptional things to do about town.
And here are some other exciting events happening about town. The Las Colinas Symphony Orchestra presents Paul Silverthorne on viola on Saturday, March 16th at 7:30 p.m. in Carpenter Hall.
The Miss Texas Latina pageant comes to Irving on Sunday, March 17th at 5 p.m. in Carpenter Hall.
Irving is on the map for dance competitions. The Spotlight Dance Cup, a competition for professional dancers, will be held March 22nd through 24th at the Irving Arts Center. Learn more at spotlightevents.com.
And the North Texas Teen Book Festival is back. Educators Day is Friday, March 22nd, and the festival kicks off at 8 a.m. on Saturday, March 23rd at the Irving Convention Center at Las Colinas. Visit NorthTexasTeenBookFestival.com for all the details. For tickets to all events at the Irving Arts Center, call 972-252-ARTS. And that wraps up this edition of About Town. Thanks for joining us.
Please be sure to tune in next time when we'll bring you highlights from Cirque Éloise at the Irving Arts Center and Irving's Got Talent 2019.
We'll also meet some very talented elementary art students at the annual Irving ISD exhibition of student art.
We'll leave you tonight with a look at the Giangulio Youth Concerto Award winner Marshall Baldwin in performance with the new Philharmonic Orchestra of Irving on February 10th. For About Town, I'm Kathy Whiteman.
And I'm Susan Stevens. Have a great evening.